Welcome back. So in this lab, we are going to look to lab 1, which is basically an introduction to the IAM. Now in this particular lab, we are going to create users and a group, and then we will see how we can use those users and the group in order to control the permission to do and to access the AWS IAM service, and then to manage the access of the user to a specific services like EC2 and S3. So in the first step here, we are going to sign in to the management console using your root account. If you don't have a root account, you can create a new AWS account. From here, all you need to do is to provide your username, and this will be your email personal address, and then you will verify that email, and then you will proceed to sign in with you have to provide also your credit card. If you already have a root user account or an IAM user, this IAM user need to be with a full administrator permission in order to do the task that we need to do for this particular lab. So I'm going to use this IAM user, and this will ask me for my account ID, which is the 12 digits for my root account. So you should receive this, and you should know this if you have a root account. If not, you need to create a root account. Click on sign in. Now I am here in the AWS Management Console, and the first step I need to do is to go to the IAM service. So I could search for it from the IAM service like this, or I could go to all services and I will look to the security, because IAM is a security services. So if you look here, you will find multiple services related to multiple things, and we are interested in this management and governance. And you will find in management and governance, there is multiple services that you could use, like the AWS well-architected framework, and you need to look for example, security and identity compliance. You will find that the IAM service like this, it's located here. You could add it to your favorite, and once you add it to your favorite, it will appear in your dashboard. So you can easily find it every time you want to navigate to the IAM. So let me now go to the IAM, and from the IAM service, I need to create users. So the first thing I need to do is to add a new user. So this user is going to be called user-1. Now in this user-1, I need to activate that this user will be accessing the management console. The access key is for the people who are going to use that user to access the AWS services using the SDK and the CLI, or to send an AWS API calls. In this particular lab, we need those users to access the management console. So we are going to select password here, and we will use a custom password. Now the lab sheet is asking us to provide lab-password1. So this is the first user, and deselect now require password to reset. I'm not going to add or to save this user to my Chrome up until now. I have previous groups. I'm not going to assign them. Okay. So I'm just going to go to the tags, review, and then create user. In the next step, I need to close this page and come back here and add another user, and this user will be user-2. So this user also need management access with custom password, and will take the lab-password, and will be lab-password2. L is capital and P is capital. I don't want to regenerate a new password when the user sign in, just to make it easy for us. And I will do next, add tags, next review, create user, close this. You could send that also, that login information to your user. So if you are creating this for your employee, you will find this feature is really handy. Select password, custom password, capital L, lab-password, and will be lab-password3. Deselect user must create a new password, and now select review, create user, and then close. In the next step, I need to create a groups. So I'm going to go to the left navigation pane, and I will find there is user and there is user groups. So I'm going to create a new group. Now this group will take the name EC2 support, which means that particular group members will only be able to have a specific permission in that EC2 service. And those permissions are limited to EC2 read-only access, so they cannot delete, terminate a machine. They can view the EC2 only. Now to assign a permission to this group, we can look to the permission below here, the permission policy, and we can select or look for EC2 read only, and we just need to search. I find the pre-configured policy from Amazon, and you could expand it. You could see that this policy is giving an allow action to describe an EC2, to describe a load balancer, also to list the metrics related to CloudWatch. So they might be also very useful for those users to monitor the machine. Maybe we just need to monitor the machine by those users in that group. So I'm going to create a group, and here there is no space at the end, and then we click on create group. Next, we need to create another group, and in this group we are going to call it EC2. We are going to call this group EC2 admin, and then we have to create as well an S3 support group. So let us create now the S3 support group. So I'm going to put the name here, S3 support group, no space at the end. Navigate down to the permission, and in the permission we need to give those users in this group an access to Amazon S3 read only access. Select this permission and create a group. So you can see here I have an admin group which I use for my personal business, and I have the EC2 support group and the S3 support group. Next, I need to create the EC2 admin group. Now in the EC2 admin group, we are going to give those group members a full administrator access to EC2, which means any user in that group can create, launch an EC2, terminate an EC2, restart an EC2 as well. So we are going to assign this. If you are not sure what kind of activity, we can see that EC2 star means all action in EC2s are allowed. And this is including any operation that the user in this group need to perform over EC2. Create a group now. So I have 3 groups. Now next, what we need to do, we need to add those users to group, and we will start to experience signing and signing out in this particular group. So let us add now user 1. Let's go back to the user group from the left navigation pane, and we choose the S3 support group, and then we will click here on add user. We want to select user 1, and we will add this user to our group. Then we need to go back, and we need to select the EC2 support group, and then we add user, and we will select user 2. And finally, we need to go to the EC2 admin group, select it, add user, and then we will select and add user 3 to this group. So now all my users are assigned to a group. So let us now test their permission. So let us go back to users, and we will select user 1. So in user 1, once I go and select that user, I will be able to get the permission of it, and how I can get the access, or how I can sign in using this group user into the AWS Management Console. Remember, we assign this user 1 to the Management Console, so he is allowed to sign in. So we need to go to the dashboard. In the dashboard, we will find that this AWS account, this ID, is basically giving this sign-in user sign-in URL for all IAM users. So I need to copy this code, and I need to open incognito window. I will paste it. Now this will ask me now to basically put the user that I want to log in. So I'm going to put user 1, and in user 1 now, I need to put the password, which is lab-password1. And sign in. So it is going to be lab capital P password 1. So I am now signed in. Now the lab sheet is asking me now to navigate to S3, and from S3 I want to verify that I can, if there is any existing bucket, I will be able to view them. Now I have a bucket here for my Solana Cafe website, but I can look at it, as you can see, and I can view it. Maybe in your case, you won't be able to see this. So what we are going to do now, we will try to launch a bucket, and let us call this bucket a demo and the date of today. The easiest way to create that. So will be 14th, 04 April, and this will be 2022. And let us see if we can just create this bucket using this user. And you can see now, this is give us a permission error. So we are not allowed to create a bucket. Now, if we go to our EC2s, in our EC2 instances in North Virginia, you can see I'm getting all these error here in the dashboard because I have read-only access to SC3. I have no permission to launch an instance in the management console. So if I click here, launch, and I create like test, just to show you guys, and create a key pair, I'm not authorized. Even if you switch to the old console and you're trying to launch an EC2, you can't perform this action because you don't have permission to do so. So let us close this now, and we need to go back to our basically admin user. So keep this in your mind. Copy the sign-in again, and then open a new private session. Even if you want, you can try this from another browser. So all you need to do is just make sure you are not in the same browser because you already logged in to this browser with the admin user. So this is all you need to do. If you do so, you might just get the same error and you will be signed out from your admin user. So be careful about that. So we will go back to IAM now, and let me go to my private session and let me sign in now using user 2. In user 2, the password was capital L lab, capital P password, and this is 2. And let me sign in. Remember, this user has a permission to basically go to our EC2 instances. So we need to go now and see if there is any EC2 instance created for us here. Most likely you will find this page is empty. So all I need you to see that yes, you can view an existing EC2 instances, but you can't create one because you have a read-only permission. So even if you do everything here in the launch configuration, you will start to get multiple error. Once it's come to launch, the process will fail because you are not authorized to perform this. But which user is allowed to perform this step? If you close this page now, go back to the sign-in, open a new private session, and sign in using user 3, you will be able to launch an EC2 instance. So this will be user-3 lab-password 3 and sign in. Go now to your EC2 instance and try to launch a new EC2 instance. You will find that this user is able, because he has a full administrator access, to launch an EC2 instance. I prefer to use the old console because it's much easier for training and learning. If you're happy to use maybe different format, it's up to you. So I am okay now. I can launch an EC2 and I just select the default, guys. So I keep it in the default VPC. I keep it just with the default setting. So I can view this instance now. I can basically do whatever I want with it. I can stop it, terminate it. All of these actions are valid. I will keep this page now to show you, and I will open a new private session and I will start to sign in using my user 3. So if I go to user 3 now, user 2, and remember user 2 is in the EC2 read only. So this is lab password 2, capital L dash capital P. If you go to the EC2s now, you will be able to view the instance. All the information about this EC2 is available to us. You could go to the monitoring and you see you have a limited access to CloudWatch. You don't have full access. You could check the status, could check the details, but can you, for example, from the action menu, do like the instance state, can you stop the instance? If you click here in stop, you will get an error message. If you navigate back to your user 3, so let us go to user-3, with lab password 3, you can see that I have full permission. I can get all the details I want in CloudWatch. I could also simply reboot this machine. I could stop it. I could do whatever I want. So this is what I want you to see in this first lab, which is an introduction to IAM. So if you have attempted this lab and you want to see the perfect solution, this is how we will do it, and try again to repeat the lab and to understand the permission, the groups, and the users. Thank you so much and see you in the next one.